Hello everyone and welcome to this week's First Impressions video. Today we are going to be talking about the new Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. I have seen this raved about all over YouTube and for good reason. You'll have to stick around to know what my final thoughts are because you obviously cannot tell by the way I'm talking about it right now. If you are not already subscribed, be sure and hit that subscribe button and the little bell, and you will be notified next week when I upload my next week's First Impressions video. I have a whole bunch of products to do first impressions on for you guys, and the next few are going to be very drugstore friendly. So I am really excited for this series. Please do stay tuned for the next videos. I am really excited for you guys to see them. I think you are going to love them and die when you see them because I am so excited to get in and play with these products. Let's hope that they're good. But I am really excited to see how they perform. And of course, if you guys have any suggestions for videos that you would like to see, please put them in the comments down below. I do read that and I will see it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this week's video, First Impressions of Wet n Wild Photofocus Foundation. The first primer I'm going to take on my face is the NYX Pore Filler. And what I'm going to do is put this on the back of my hand, rub it around so it becomes a little creamy, and I'm just going to put this where I have larger pores. Next I'm going to take this very dirty Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. This is their Nourishing primer. I really love this stuff because my skin is dry, but yet I need something to fill in my pores, so I end up using two different primers. So I'll just take a little bit on the back of my hand and apply that to the rest of my face. Alright, now for the star of the show, I'm going to go ahead and take this Photofocus foundation by Wet n Wild. I'm just going to apply this to the back of my hand. And I'm going to apply half of it with a dampened beauty blender and the other half with a brush. Alright, so right off the bat, I can tell you I am really liking the finish on this foundation. It is, I'd probably say a medium coverage foundation. You can kind of tell, let me zoom you guys in really quick so that you can kind of tell my skin type and what we're working with. Alright, so as you can tell on my face, I have a lot of freckles. I even have redness right in this area here. I wouldn't say it's rosacea, but it is red or pink pigmented. So as you can tell the difference between this side and this does give a pretty nice coverage. And I am enjoying the feel of it. It feels almost like it has an oily texture, but then it dries down to a satin type of matte finish. And so I am really liking that. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and take my Morphe M439 brush. We are just going to do the same thing and apply it. Alright, so with the brush, I can kind of tell it has a little bit of that oily texture coming out because streaks are being left behind from my brush. And this side gave a very airbrushed type of look to it. So I'm not sure how much I love applying this with a brush, but it does seem to have kind of that same finish as this side. Alright, I'm going to take a little bit more and I'm going to see how this builds up with a beauty blender. One thing I do want to point out is in my videos you are going to be able to tell if a coverage is full medium, or light coverage, or if it's simply a moisturizer and has no coverage. You'll be able to tell that really well because my freckles have certain like patterns in them. So right here there's generally a line of freckles, and same on this side. There's certain areas where my freckles peek through a little bit more than other areas. And so with a foundation, you will really be able to see if it's going to hold up to a full coverage name or a medium or light. I do have to say with this foundation, I could not find if it was meant to be a medium to full coverage foundation. From what I can tell, it seems to be a medium foundation or semi-light, light to medium foundation, depending on your skin tone and what it looks like. As far as my freckles and what it covers, it seems to be about a medium type of foundation. Alright, so from what I can see, this is a buildable foundation. I really do like the finish on it. I'm going to give it a minute more and see how it finally dries down, whether it's satin finish, kind of tacky, or if it is a full matte foundation. I am not seeing anywhere on here that it says the type of finish that it is meant to have. So I'm going to let it sit for a minute and I'll come back and tell you my thoughts. Alright, so my thoughts on this foundation, I've let it sit for a minute and kind of air out so that it dries down. It does have a little bit of a tacky feel to it, but it is not overly dewy and it doesn't feel like it would just slip off on my fingers. It does leave a tiny bit of residue on my fingers, if you can see, just from that tackiness. But I do like the finish. I like that it is not drying out my skin, because generally any foundation that has a hint of matte in it or in the name, it is going to dry out my skin. I'm going to get patches and streaks and it's not going to look very good on my skin. So I am really liking how this turned out. I really do want to see how my concealer and powder is going to lay on top of it, how everything will blend, and I'm going to finish that up and I will come back and give you my final thoughts on this first impression. Alright, so to finish up with my review of this Photofocus foundation from Wet n Wild, I have got to say that I really, really like it. I am with everyone. I am on the bandwagon and I am ready to go. This foundation truly is a bang for your buck. For $5.99 and for the color selection that they have, this finish is amazing. I have very, very dry skin, and so when I put a foundation on that doesn't have a luminous and dewy finish on it, I generally am expecting it to crack and to feel really drying on my skin. This one does not dry with a luminous finish on my skin, at least, and I absolutely love it. It really let my powder sit on top of it well. It let everything blend in really, really nicely, and I am just loving it. Everything that I can see has laid on very, very nicely. I had no problem with product grabbing at it, even though, I mean, I did set it with a powder, but I used a very minimal amount of powder. And really, I feel like everything went on very nicely. I am in love with this foundation. Hello. Hi. Okay, come home to me. Alright, I love you. Okay, bye. Can I just brag about my husband for a second? I have got to say that I am just so in love. We've been married for almost 2 years now, and I just still get butterflies every time I see him call. He is my best friend and I love him. So make sure you get that in your lives, because it is so great to feel that way. So I am going to definitely see how this wears throughout the day. I want to see if it lasts very long, if it stays this amazing throughout the entire day. through handling a baby and having his hands all over my face, as well as going different places, being out in the weather. Right now it's really cold and dry and snowy and rainy, and so I'm gonna update you. I'll leave that in the description box below, so check that out to see how it wore throughout the day. I really hope that you guys liked this first impressions. Please let me know in the description box down below what other videos you would like to see. Again, if you are not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I will be uploading twice a week at least, and be letting you guys know my thoughts on more foundations, more products, more everything, because I have an obsession. I have a problem, but we're not going to call it a problem yet. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have tried this product. Also, let me know what kind of skin type you have and how it wore on your skin. I love to know those different facts, simply because we all have different skin types. I would love to know who to recommend this to and who not to recommend this to. So I know for people with dry skin like mine, this is going to be really, really good. As well as, I'm assuming, for those with oily skin, the way that this dries down, I think that it will sit very nicely on the skin. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, for joining me, and thank you for being a supporter and a subscriber. I appreciate it, and I love you guys so very much. So we'll see you in my next video. Bye!
That I'm at an all time low, 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 low.